Yaron heads technology and forensic consulting at PricewaterhouseCoopers here in Israel. And I have to tell you something. I've known Yaron for so long because one thing people don't know about me is I actually started my career, after the military in PricewaterhouseCoopers Israel. So we've known, I guess, for a decade now, isn't it? All right, Yaron, so what do you think about new technologies are we going to have to secure?
Well, I think one thing that we have to add into the equation is also connectivity, because this is one of the major changes.
We're all connected.
It's all, as Nimrod said, the same vulnerability is everywhere. It's on our computer, of course, our cell phone, our industrial control system, on everything. It's the same vulnerability. And if we can get into one of these systems, using connectivity, we can get everywhere. Now, the main difference between today and 20 years ago is connectivity. Everything is connected.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for one of these, like a connected fan, right? Wouldn't that be a fantastic innovation if we could surf the web while we're fanning ourselves? Okay, sorry, so, I'll fan you a little bit too.
Adding to what Nimrod said, looking at the connections, looking at the connectivity of everything, protecting this layer will actually enable a better, secure place because we can segregate the threat into specific areas.
All right, and now with that in mind, with connectivity and with security from the foundations up, I want to take you to where I think is the next step of hacking, and Menny mentioned this earlier. So in the television series Homeland, the American TV show, by the way, based on an Israeli TV show, Chatufim. Has anyone not seen the second season? Okay, spoiler alert. In the second season of Homeland, we're seeing a potential terrorist hacking into the pacemaker of the United States Vice President in an attempt to assassinate him. Now, I'm not going to tell you if it worked or not, but what I am going to tell you is that this is not fiction at all because, in fact, 7 years ago, in 2007, when the real US Vice President, then at the time, Dick Cheney, had his new implanted cardiac defibrillator installed, his doctors made sure to completely turn off any wireless capability because they were afraid of exactly that scenario, a scenario of wireless hacking using radio frequency into embedded technologies within the human body. So what do our esteemed panelists think about this, the potential of having technologies in our body that we cannot upgrade the software, we cannot design it from the beginning, it has to work, it's wetware, it has to work inside the body. How can we even secure that?
First of all, by design, it's unsecured. The fact that in
the human body is insecure?
The human body is insecure when you have any connected device embedded in the body or inflated into the body, just by the fact that in any of these actually pacemakers, you have something like 200 modules. 200 modules are designed by third parties. You can never have control over the design floor or kind of like the production floor, unsecured by design. So whether we can secure them, certainly we can have trusted infrastructure, and that's actually the way we designed them in embedded systems. However, I believe that most of the scenarios that we imagine are destructive scenarios. I'll try to kill the person with the pacemaker. I'll try to harm his physical presence.
Please don't.
And honestly, that's the hardest thing to do because all monitoring and protective layers try to look for destruction. Most of the time, actually, what's happening is data leakage. People are much more interested to get the data from Dick Cheney and the data that you can collect about his activity, well-being, behavior.
From his pacemaker?
You can get it from his pacemaker.
About where he's walking around?
Certainly, you can get it from the pacemaker, location.
Oh, you can share the mics, guys.
No, continue.
There are actually platforms now, connected platforms, that just by the fact of your behavior or physical presence can assess stress that you are in, can assess presence, can assess location, can get all this data and get a good profile of you. Sometimes they'll sell this profile for $1 for marketeers, but sometimes they'll take it for destructive intelligence.
So it sounds to me, Nimrod, what you're talking about is that it doesn't take advanced technologies embedded in our body to track all of our activities online. And I think a good person to respond to that would be Matan, because Matan's technology company actually focuses on behavioral biometrics. So he tracks people for a living, and he doesn't use, yeah, that's what he does. He's one of my friends, so it's okay.
Thank you for that intro. I don't think I ever got more accurate than the...
No lunch for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, send me the check later.
Everyone stay away. No, I totally agree with what Nimrod is saying and with what Keren is saying. I think that we already see, we don't have to wait till the technology makes its way physically into our bodies. Sensors today are already monitoring every single sample they can extract from a human body. So we have infrared cameras that monitor the body heat. We have heart rate monitors in cell phones now. So this whole thing ties to health and lifestyle thing, but at the same time, we have never been as closely monitored as we are being monitored right now. And
I want to ask the audience a question, actually. Is anyone here wearing any wearable technology? Are you tracking your steps, your calories? Do you have the Nike Fuel Band? Anyone using a step counter like that? Anyone in the audience?
after what I did, nobody's
By the way, I remember that at DLD, actually DLD 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the people there started wearing those bands. So this is not even such a new phenomenon. We're all tracking this information about ourselves all the time, right?
Right, and I think that much like any other type of technology, just like we have speed cameras or cameras just for monitoring purposes in cities, we are always going to have to find ourselves facing this dilemma of how much of our privacy are we willing to compromise for the good things that we get from it, if it's security, better health, etc., and how much are we actually willing to deal with negative phenomena of people that will take advantage of that information for
That's a good question.
or other purposes.
Menny, what do you think? As an auditor, you deal with security versus privacy all the time.
Yeah, so I want to say that thank you. So currently, people don't care. Don't care about security.
Don't care about what?
Don't care about security. It's not that we're not...
You don't care about security, dear audience?
Let me explain, Keren.
Okay.
It's not that we're not worried about it. It's not that when it happens, we're not yelling and screaming and saying that it shouldn't happen. But most of the time, people just use technology and they don't think about the threats. The moment that we'll have technology integrated in our bodies, people will start caring. The moment we will start caring, we will not allow manufacturers to create technology which is not safe. Then something might change. Because currently, manufacturers are in a position where they are in a lot of stress to create new technologies very, very quickly, right? So they don't have the time to do security by design. Security by design is a very important concept. And they don't have time to do that. So they're saying, we have a lot of competition. People only care about functionality. We want our phone to work. We don't care if it's safe at the beginning. So with the moment we will see those
So we have to start caring about security. We have to start demanding it from our technology vendors.
I think we should, but I don't think that it will be possible till the moment that each and every one of us, including me, I'm part of it, okay? Each and every
You're part of the problem, Menny.
the problem every day.
Menny, I think that most of the people won't really like to pay the price. They can afford it. They can't afford it. They don't want to pay the price for security. But it's different for companies, because companies can actually fail completely if they lose sensitive data, if one of their clients got, let's say, worst case scenario, dead due to their technology. So it's a different game for clients, for the consumers at the end, and for the companies. And companies should start to care. And there are a lot of startups here, a lot of people here.
Startups, watch out.
And some of you are holding sensitive data. If this data leaks out, it's a problem for the company, not really for the people whose data is leaked out, but for you. You've got your IP. You do want to start to think about protecting it.
So I want to kind of come back to that point. I think when it comes to the balance between privacy and security, it's hard to forecast what our future will look like. But one thing that I'm constantly thinking about is, will we ever give up more of the decision-making in our lives to the synthetics, to the computer programs, the algorithms, the artificial intelligence? What do you think, guys?
First of all, I think privacy is dead.
Privacy is dead?
Privacy is certainly dead.
Oh my God, we have to sit Shiv'ah.
And it's a post-mortem discussion about privacy. We gave us privacy years back. We gave us privacy for...
privacy is gone.
Privacy is gone. It's a nice legal concept, but however, there's no market for privacy, and privacy lost in the market competition. And privacy also lost by the fact that there's no way for you to understand how much of your privacy you give up in every decision you take. And privacy is not a good business model. So therefore privacy lost. And now to your question, which I think it's a very important question, whether we see differently that an algorithm or some artificial intelligence take decision rather than a human being. And for example, there are now monitoring systems that can track human beings for their physical behavior to see whether I'm too stressed, to see if there's something moving in my muscles, to see the iris movement, in order to track for me being a potential wrongdoer.
Potential threat.
Potential
if you're
threat.
nervous, you might blow
Potential
something up,
threat.
right? That's a sign.
If a policeman would come to me in the street and said, I want to do a physical search on you, all the lawyers in the room would come and shout, this is a breach of privacy, human rights, and everything, and we'll have a legal catastrophe. If you have it in the airports now or in stadiums, that you have technology capable by smart sensors, as Matan was describing, smart sensors that can sense chemicals on your body, hormones, body movement, and can take by algorithm a decision whether you are a potential threat and therefore take action on you, we say, okay, it's a computer decision, artificial intelligence, and we do not invoke the same legal concerns. Why? Because we believe it's only a computer decision.
So I think we have about time for a last comment. Yaron, did you have something that you want to say? Matan? Menny? Or, yeah, Menny, go ahead.
I just want to do
If the audience has a question, now's the time to think about it.
I want to do something, and it's strange. Yeah, what?
You want to do something strange?
I want to do something, yeah. I want to do the best selfie, DLD selfie ever. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go over there,
all the way
and then everyone will turn around, and I'll take a selfie of everyone on DLD, all the best guys and girls who are here, and we will have a great memory of this. So.
And And when Menny gets back from the very end, from the selfie, I have a question for the audience. Raise your hands. Maybe we should stand up. Stand up. Let's stand up. DLD selfie. Yeah. Okay. And now I have a question for the audience. Who here? What's that?
We told him that.
Yeah, Menny is a rock star. You know, he's confused. The Lady Gaga concert was three days ago. So here's a question for the audience. Who wants to go to lunch? Woo! Okay, access granted. You may all go to lunch. I want to thank our panelists.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Oli. Thank you, Ruti, for hosting DLD.
Thanks a lot.
Enjoy your lunch. Don't forget to come back. You just